Hi, welcome to Robyn's Roost. Today we're going to be making a pretty watercolor card using the detailed Dogwood stamp set, which is one of the free celebration sets. And we're going to be using a simple stamp block, the clear block, to make a background, and then we'll be using markers to ink up our stamp and a spritzer to get everything wet. So let's just flip the camera and get started. So here are all the supplies that we're going to need to make this card. I have a very vanilla thick base, and it's been cut in half and then scored. So it's all ready to go. And then I have a piece of the watercolor, the Fluid 100 watercolor paper that's been cut in half. So it is, okay, now I'm testing me, 3.5 inches by 5. And then I have a piece of berry burst that's 1/4 inch bigger. So 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. And then we need a block. And of course you can use, whichever size block you want. I did think about using the bigger block, that I have my stamp on, and then everything would have had the watercolor behind it, but I kind of like this I don't know, like you're looking through a window and it's got the color on it. So of course I'm using the detailed Dogwood stamp set for this card, and this is a celebration set that you can earn for free if you purchase $100 of product. And then I am pulling in a greeting from the Perennial Postage stamp set. And this is in the mini catalog. It's in the lovely Lavender Suite, which has 2 different bundles that go with it. It has dies that match that are like postage stamp edges. And then this, of course, is all greetings. I also need a spritzer to get my block wet once I've inked it, and then I have 2 different ink colors. I've got black and berry burst. So it's pretty, oh, I lied. I also need some pencils. So I have some, pens. I've got some of the Stampin Write markers that I'm going to be actually inking the stamps with. And they're kind of a variety of colors. I'll mention the names as we go along. So we're going to let's start by getting our card out of the way and our paper that we're not inking. Okay, so we're going to work on our watercolor paper. Now you can use, that really got dark. This is not the color I used. I lied. We also need bubble bath. Let me get rid of this ink. Start over. Now I've totally lost my train of thought where it was at. Okay, so we're actually using bubble bath for this. Much lighter pink. So we're just going to ink our block all up, and then take our spritzer, and I don't know if I can't do that. If I do this on camera, I'm going to have, well, let's try it. I'll probably have water everywhere, but move that out of the way. Just to show you, now I've got this probably 8 to 12 inches away because I don't want it like super wet. I'm not sure if you could see that, but I've given it a light spritz. So it's not like the water is running off, but it's wet. You could also spritz the paper too. And then we're just going to center this straight, if I can do that. And you'll see the water kind of mush when you push it down. And of course, every time you do this, it looks different. Now that'll dry. Don't get concerned about the bubbles, they'll dry. And then you just have to be patient and let it, set it off to the side. If you're using regular paper, Oh, and I'm way over on one side. I'm not very good at straight. If you're using regular cardstock, you might need to set it, you know, set something heavy on it to get it flat, because it will ripple and curl. Now I was a little impatient, so I went and took my heat tool and dried this so that we could do this a little bit faster. Oh, let me get that ink out of the way because I'm not going to use that. Okay, now I'm actually going to ink up my stamp with my markers. So you can use any color markers, of course. I know I used some old retired ones on my original one that I showed you. And this is Old Olive, so you can see what you will get with current colors. And sometimes when I'm not sure what should be inked or not, I flip it over so I can see like where the petals are and what is leaves. Because this flower in here, it's kind of hard to tell. So there should be one more leaf in here. And then I also like to take, because these are kind of like woody plants, and then I'm just going to put a little bit of crumb cake on the main stems that would be kind of woody. Then I'm going to come back in with some melon mambo to do our flowers. And you're not going to have to worry about this drying out because you're going to spritz it to give it that watercolor look. So the ink will get re-wetted. So you're just going to cover everything with that melon mambo. And then I've got some of the berry burst, so we're going to make dark centers. Kind of add a little bit of that in the centers. Just go there. I have a hard time with this one telling where the center is because it's kind of at an angle. Okay, once we have all that on there, I think I've got everything, then we're just going to, and this time I think I'll go off camera, get my carpet a little wet. So I'm just going to take this and spritz it. So you can see, hopefully, let's see, can I move my camera up? There, you can see it's all wet. And I like to leave the stamp on the paper for a few seconds so that it has time to transfer all that water and ink. And then hopefully I don't have ink on my fingers. And like I said, every time you stamp, it's going to look a little different because you've got a different amount of water. And as it dries, it will look different as well. So you can see, basically it's the same card, but it's going to look a little different. And if you like more of the watercolor look, like you can see it looks less watercolory, where you're not over the inked block ink. So if you wanted more of that look, use the big block instead of the smaller one. So then you're going to let this dry completely before you try to stamp your dragonfly and your words on here. Otherwise, they will get smeared. So for our dragonfly, once again, I'm going to use one of the Stampin' Write markers, and this is the Tahitian Tide. But for this one, I want him more bold, kind of on the top, so I am not going to add any water. And we're just going to place him up here at the top, Looks like I got this one a little bit higher up, but so that's our dragonfly. And then for our words, we're just going to use black ink. I have to find my words. So we're going to use black because I want it to be nice and bold. And we'll just run this across the bottom. And now all we have left to do is to layer our card together. Hopefully that ink is not going to smudge when I do this. I would say let it dry first. I have a brand new tape runner here. And even with the watercolor paper, you might get a little bit of rippling in the paper. And I heated this, so it probably got a little bit more ripple than it normally would. And I'm not sure how dry everything is, so I'm just going to put it upside down to rub it. There we go, and then we're going to layer this onto our card base. And then there are some little, I think they're birds and dragonfly brass embellishments that are going on my next order, but I don't have any just yet. So we're going to use the brass butterflies for this one. But wouldn't it look cute to have the brass dragonflies on here with that dragonfly? But we'll have butterflies instead. So there is our watercolored dogwood. Hope you enjoyed this card. If you want to place an order, I'll have my link to my store below. Thanks for stopping by at the Roost. I hope you had a great day.